Welcome, 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 everyone. My name is Neil Thrussell, and I am really excited to bring on Paul Yeo, who is he's a reformed financial planner with over a decade of experience. And Paul left the corporate financial planning to be the creator of his own financial education and investment program. So, welcome, Paul.
Well, thank you, Will. Thank you for having me. Yes, very
So,
excited to be here.
yeah. And I'm even more amazed that we were just talking. Paul is in Australia, and it's 3:30 in the morning. So thank you for choosing for willingly getting up to help us this morning.
No, no problems at all. It's actually my normal wake up time, 3:30. So here I am.
And that could be a beautiful segue. It is a beautiful segue. Paul has achieved some form of success. We won't define it, but he's choosing to get up at 3:30 in the morning to start his day. And I think many people don't like that. So that version of success for Paul working is not in their cards. How, as a success, uh, as when we define success, how putting yourself in a discomfort zone and willing to work through does that help with success or mastery?
It's absolutely the only way for us to move toward mastery, right? If we're talking about the word mastery here, and my definition is always around um, a never-ending improvement of oneself. So the only way we can improve, the only way we can um, chase after what we want is to put ourselves out there, to take the steps that are, yeah, potentially uncomfortable, potentially something that we haven't done before, right? So it's like what Albert Einstein says: uh, the solution to a problem, or the problem, or I'm going to botch this up, but it's to do with the problem that we created. Um, is never the I can't remember how it went, how it goes now. Gosh, um, yeah, the
Because it's 3:30 in the morning.
because it's no. Yeah, that no, I cannot remember what it is. So we'll get to that. But yeah,
Yeah.
you got to be the different person, different thinking in order to solve the problem that you've created. So again, I botched that up, but I like that. I like that because, yeah, because where we are today, all the results that we have today is a result of what we know, and the key word here is know, right? We know that. Uh, so the thing is, knowing is what we're living, and I really like this when I first learned this, because coming from my background as a financial planner, I've seen many different uh, many different scenarios, many different financial situations, and what people experience in their lives, whether it is
Yeah.
financially strong, right, or financially poor. Um,
Yeah.
it's all a result of what they've been doing to get to that point. And then, of course, I point that to myself as well. But the great thing is being able to see so many versions of it over my career span allows me to then, reflect back. Because at the time, it's just like at the time now, this is the present. But we come back and reflect back and say, okay, how did this person get to that point? And it is the thinking. It is the thinking that's created that problem. The level of thinking. That's what it is. That level of thinking that created a problem, and it's not the same level of thinking in order to solve it. That's why they come to a financial planner at the time when I was a planner to
Yeah.
solve that problem.
And so since Paul is a financial planner, I think this is my own take, and Paul has, since
Yeah.
he's does this for the living and not me, but there is no overnight success to finances. And even if I won the biggest lottery, what I heard Paul say before, my habits from prior how I dealt with my money habits, even if my financial fortunes turned immediately overnight, will carry me forward unless I change them.
100%. And in order to change, we risk being in an uncomfortable situation. Waking up at 3:30 in the morning for me, it's normal now. Even when I get up, when I fall asleep sometimes at 11, 12 o'clock, because it could be because the kids were unsettled, or I have some work to do, or sometimes even having meetings, right?
Yeah,
um uh, that's okay, because I find myself still waking up at the same time. But prior to this, no chance, no chance. You told me 4 o'clock in the morning, you got 4 a.m. club, 5 a.m. club, 6 a.m. club, right?
yeah.
Like, no way, no way. I was a let's get up 5 minutes before you have to go to work sort of thing. um but
So,
yeah, go on.
other than the habit, so you're now in the habit of getting up. So, what gets you out of bed? That's the easiest way. What gets you out of bed to at this, for many people, this unearthly hour, like shaking their head? Why the heck would you leave a comfortable bed to do something? So, what gets you out of bed?
Well, put it so a few things, right? So the number one thing is my family, my children, to provide for them. Some of you guys probably know me or know of my history. I have a daughter with Angelman Syndrome, so that's a disability that's going to um, she's going to carry for the rest of her life, and it's going to be also our responsibility as well as parents, to look after her for the rest of her life. That really was the tipping point or the turning point for my wife Emma and myself, in looking at where we were at the time. I was at 9 to 5, working in the bank, and I knew that it's not going to cut it. Like what I'm doing, it's not going to cut it financially, at least, to provide her a life that is, that is going to uh, be there for her, like the money that will be there for her beyond her life, right? So, so number one is family, and keeping this in mind is keeping that eye on the prize.
Yeah.
So just waking up every morning, and just remembering that what you're doing this for, at least in the initial stages, that drove me. Now it's just part of life now, part of, hey, this is normal, this is me, this is what I do. So it feels normal for me. But it's just like anyone listening out there right now, right? You might be a runner, you might run marathons, and suddenly 10 kilometers is normal as a training run,
Uh,
because you
uh,
you do 42, right? 42 and a
yeah,
half. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
So
love the analogy. Okay, so what? So now we might get a little more personal here. So all of a sudden, you're faced with a choice.
yes.
Your daughter is diagnosed with Angelman syndrome, and your choice. And you look at you've pulled apart your life and gone, we need to make a change. What do you think stopped you from going to like everyone cry and everyone ever cries and has fits of despair and woe is me, but what turned you around? Because we all need to grieve the change in life, but what do you think was it that moved you from grief to going, okay? Is there a secret thing, something in there that you think changed you, or was it just a mindset? What was it that moved you?
That's actually a really good question there, because the grieving for me did not happen until later on. It was really getting on with it. So um, it's been like that in my life since I was a child, right? Mom and dad, they split up, and
Yeah,
I live in, uh, I live in three different locations in Malaysia before coming here to Australia. Um, Went to three different primary school, went to three different secondary school. And that there was no time to just sit back and uh, think about, oh, my life's so hard and this and that, and oh, I lost my friends. It's just, let's just get on with it. And I don't know. It's probably saying not thinking about it, not overthinking it. It's probably the biggest thing is it's like staying in the present moment, right? I'm not worried
Yeah.
about what's to happen in the future. I'm not going to worry about what has already happened. But hey, I'm here now. I'm here now. This is what I, I must do. It is my duty now to do this. And coming over here to Australia wasn't easy. Mom was a single mom,
Mm.
and I have two younger sisters. I came here when I was 15 and a half, so tail end of
Ooh, very difficult age too.
it was, and I have to leave all my friends again,
Yeah.
friendships that I built. I finally got a little bit more of a little bit of normalcy, right?
Yeah.
Um, living in Malaysia,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, coming to Australia, and my grandpa got unwell. He suffered Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah. So what I'm
And
hearing is that your history taught you to, through a series of misfortunes, mishaps, but learning opportunities, taught you to go, okay, it just is what it is. Let's move on.
yeah, absolutely. And some people say this saying, it's just it is what it is, right? Um,
Yeah.
some people see that as being uh disempowering to say, oh, it is just what it is. But the truth is, yeah, it just is. So what are you going to do about it? It's the most important thing. And
And yeah, so
just
what I hear is that you've acknowledged this situation and you're, because life has trained you, you now have you're still going through processes that is just, I need to move on. So I like to equate that anyone that has achieved any modicum of big success has learned to just pick themselves up like Paul has done and take the next step.
keep moving forward.
I love it. What's the kids movie from Nemo? Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
Yeah, that 100%. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if you were to look at some whatever golfing cyclist, I don't know, I only know, but it was the person I can use because I know Paul cycles. The only one that I know is Lance Armstrong, but he's had much controversy around him. But if you were to pick any person that has achieved mega success, what do you think some of the key things are that's driven them, got them to where the, that helped them along their way to success?
it's it's facing adversity after adversity, or challenges, you can call it, whatever it is in front of them, is overcoming that. Becoming a bigger person is what it's all about, improving oneself. And that version of that changes over time as well. Like who I am right now, who I was, maybe right now, it, it's different. That's bad English. That who I was right now. But when I look back, like who I was right now, um, I might look back and I might cringe with no with what I've said, and that's okay. Like it is not a shame thing, because it's okay. That was my level of thinking at the time. I mean, I look back. I remember even in my school days, some things I wrote. I look back and I go, oh my gosh, I thought that way. No, I thought that like the meaning of life is so material back then.
Yeah,
Now, the meaning of life for me is perhaps more spiritual. And as I go into this more of a spiritual awakening and developing myself in this field, I'll look back now and go, oh, my level of thinking is at this level. And I'm not saying at this level as in a lower level, but it is at this level based on the current reality I'm living right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
because if I go back to when you said you came to Australia around 15, if I look at the 15-year-old Neil, the 15-year-old Neil was just trying to get the best looking girl that I could get. You know,
Yeah.
and make sure that I could hang with my friends. Some of that is still true because I've been blessed to be with what the best looking girl that I've been married to, and I still get to hang with my friends. But it's the what we're doing together and not getting into trouble kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
love the word that the thing that you said, even though you're talking about finances and like would put spirituality into money, and I'm like, money is money. But I love that. So that's just so good, Paul. And I'm just checking my clock. Okay, we still got 3 whole minutes. This is great. So we have time. So if you were to, what are some of the things that you think success is?
That is, that is a huge question. That's a huge question. It is that process of improvement of oneself. Is that keep moving forward mentality. And sometimes moving backward, is moving forward. It's funny, like our brains would tell us, well, that's not the outcome we want, but it was because the outcome that we didn't want that has propelled us to overcome that. And many times, especially in business, like I left, I left my 9 to 5. I started a business, and there were headwinds after headwinds, challenges after challenges. COVID happened, right? I started my business just before that, and my business is a face-to-face business.
Yeah,
So it was a really big hit, really, at the time. Um, but hey, we just get through it one day at a time. Yeah.
absolutely. And I like that you said that you sometimes have to go backwards, and we'll use money. Sometimes as we accumulate, in my experience, as I've accumulated wealth, I forget. I don't save as much as I don't for remember the basics enough, and I start breaking some of the fundamental rules. So I do need to go, Neil, go back to the fundamentals and my success. And to me, so that was a beautiful example of honoring that you need to go back there.
It's always it is funny. The biggest thing I learned living, I say living as in now I'm being more of myself, is go taking steps back is often the fastest way to moving forward rather than pushing forward, if that makes sense then.
Ab-
Because
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, some people might see this as the feminine and masculine energies. No, I'm going to energies from spirituality energies. um it is that, because we, even myself as a man, have both feminine and masculine energy. We have the push energy and the pull energy. If we're
Yeah.
pushing all the time, it is that saying, we sometimes don't stop to smell the roses, right? And
Absolutely.
that's what reflection is for me. That's what meditation is for me, because I can achieve more in clarity by stepping back than I can just moving forward, and keep pushing forward rather than moving forward. Because moving forward is just a metaphor, right? That there is really no direction what forward is.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
backwards is forward as well.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness, I can't believe that we're at almost 20 minutes here. I just want to thank you for getting up at 3 in the morning to be with our listeners and our viewers and Facebook Lives, YouTube Live, and on podcasts later on. So, thank you, Paul.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And take care.